Welcome to Mamahood After Trauma, where healing and mamahood intersect. I'm Emily, your host. Join us as we discover practical strategies to nurture ourselves with kindness and understanding. Stay tuned for insights and inspiration to support you on your path of healing and growth. Let's dive in together. This is Mamahood After Trauma. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I'm so excited that you have taken some time out of your day to tune in and listen to this episode. This episode is going to be a little bit different. So, as we go throughout this episode, there are going to be action steps for you to take, and I encourage you to either come back and do the things when you are able to focus, or to do the things as we go. All right. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about discovering your mama vision. And your mama vision is important because it is your why. It is the why behind what you want to achieve in your mamahood, how you want to show up for your kids, and how you want to show up for yourself. So we're going to dive in first a little bit more to understanding the importance of your mama vision before we go into the actionable type steps. So this episode is going to cover both the how and the why, because both are very important pieces to the puzzle. Why is it so important to have a clear mama vision? For those of us who grew up in households filled with trauma and dysfunction, we've spent a lot of time just trying to survive. Survival was our main priority. And we've learned to be on guard, to protect ourselves, and to make do with what we have. But when it comes to parenting, surviving isn't enough. We want to thrive. We want to create a different reality for our children, one that is filled with love, safety, and opportunity. A clear vision helps you to align your daily actions with your bigger purpose. It gives you direction when things get tough, because when you're healing childhood trauma in the midst of parenting, things are going to get tough, and serves as a compass when you feel lost or overwhelmed. So I want to share just a little story with you about how my mama vision came to be and the why behind it. So if you've heard my story at all, you know that when I became a mama in 2018, it was like a freight train of trauma came barreling down the tracks at me and hit me. And I should also note that the reason I didn't want to have children before I met my now husband is because I didn't want to bring them into a world that was as hurtful as the one I experienced as a child. And I think that's really common for us as trauma survivors. Many of us are hesitant or don't want to have kids because we fear repeating the cycle. And that was a huge concern for me. And so when my daughter was born and that all that repressed emotion came bubbling to the surface, and my nervous system was telling me, you need to get the heck out of here because it's not safe. There was a huge internal battle that I was fighting because my nervous system was telling me to go because it wasn't safe, but I didn't want to repeat the cycle. And so that was that time period was kind of a defining moment for me because I didn't know how to do what I needed to do. I didn't know what to do to heal. I didn't know what healing needed to be done, but I knew that I couldn't live with myself if I repeated the cycle. So I knew I had to figure it out and break the cycle. And so over the last 6 or so years, at the time of this recording, it has been a journey of learning how to understand my nervous system, learning how to care for my nervous system, and teaching myself and my nervous system the coping skills for stress and just chaos has been something that has been an ongoing journey for me. And so where I am now didn't just happen. It did not involve me sitting on my hands and just going with whatever came. It has been a very intentional, conscious effort every day, day after day, good days, bad days, no energy days, stressed out to the max days, every single day, making a choice to create, to heal and create the childhood for my children that they deserve. They deserve to have a mama who is calm. They deserve to have a mama who can teach them how to handle their emotions in a healthy way. And I'm not going to sit here with rose-colored glasses on and tell you that it has been easy, because it has not been easy. But it's been worth it. We interrupt this amazing conversation for a word from our sponsor. Are you tired of feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster in mamahood? Ready to break free from the fear and frustration that's holding you back? Introducing Mama Untriggered private podcast series, a transformative 5-episode journey to help you calm your nervous system and reclaim your strength in mamahood. In each episode, we'll guide you through practical, actionable steps to understand your triggers, build your trigger toolbox, and harness the power of community for support. Say goodbye to those moments of overwhelm and hello to more peaceful, empowered you. You didn't become a mama to spend your day on edge. It's time to take control of your emotional well-being and create a positive, joyful experience for you and your littles. Ready to break free from the emotional roller coaster? Subscribe now to the Mama Untriggered private podcast series and start your journey to a calmer, happier mamahood today. So the first step that is required for you to cast your mama vision is first to reflect on your past and your present. Reflection is a huge component to healing. I always tell my clients, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And that's a very old kind of cliche statement, but it's true. You cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So I want you to take a moment and think about your childhood. What were some things that you loved? And what were some things that hurt you? And the more honest you can be with yourself in this situation, in this moment, the better. So grab a journal or a piece of paper or open up the notes app on your phone or computer or iPad, whatever you're listening on, and write down in 2 columns. One for things you want to bring into your child's lives, your children's lives, and a column for things you want to leave behind. And like I said, this requires you to be honest with yourself, not for the purpose of judging yourself, but so that you are aware. It's about raising your awareness. And it's also not about blaming anyone. It's about understanding your values and what matters most to you as a mama. So I challenge you now to take a few deep breaths. And as you write, think about your own strengths. What makes you an amazing mama? Is it your compassion, your determination, your ability to listen? Acknowledge these qualities because they are your superpowers. They will guide you as you create your vision. All right, the next step, now that you've reflected on your past and acknowledged where you are, let's dream a little, shall we? I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine your ideal life as a mama. What does your day look like? How do you feel when you wake up? What kind of energy fills your home? How do you handle the challenges that come up? What do you and your children laugh about together? Take some time now to write down or draw your ideal day. Don't hold back. This is your chance to dream big. Maybe it's a morning routine that grounds you, a peaceful bedtime ritual, or simply feeling more present and connected with your kids. Let your imagination flow. Don't hold back. So, as you do this, remember the quote, "What you focus on grows." By putting your energy into what you want rather than what you fear, you start to attract more of those positive experiences into your life. And this is something that I work with my clients on. We always focus on what's going well instead of what's not going so well. So now that you have a clearer picture of your vision, it's time to set some intentional goals. We're going to start small. I encourage you to start small. What is one thing you can do this week that aligns with your vision? Maybe it's setting a boundary that's been hard for you, setting a schedule for a self-care moment, or having a heart-to-heart with your child. Your challenge here is to write down 1 to 3 actionable steps you can take this week. Make sure they're specific, they're measurable, so you know when it's achieved, and attainable. Make sure that it's something that you can actually go do. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be more patient," okay, which is something I'm sure many of us trauma surviving mamas would like, is to be more patient. Instead, try wording it like this: "I will take 3 deep breaths before responding to my child's tantrum." Do you see the difference there? I want to be more patient versus I will take 3 deep breaths before responding to my child's tantrum. It's very measurable. You can think to yourself, okay, have I taken 3 deep breaths before I respond to Junior's tantrum? And if you can answer that question with a yes, then you've done what you said you're going to do. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Each small step you take brings you closer to the mama and person that you want to be. Okay, finally, our last step that we're going to talk about today is about commitment. Change does not happen overnight. And there will be days when you feel like giving up. It's guaranteed to happen. On those days, I want you to come back to your vision. Keep it somewhere visible on your bathroom mirror, as a screensaver, in your journal. Let it be a reminder of why you're doing this work. And finally, I just want to leave you with a little bit of encouragement. Mama, you're not alone on this journey. There are so many mamas out there just like you who are breaking the cycle, healing wounds, and creating a better future for their families. And guess what? You're doing an amazing job. Be gentle with yourself and celebrate every victory, no matter how small. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to join the Mamahood After Trauma Inner Circle. It will give you the community of mamas that you need to help you through those tough days. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune in to this episode of the Mamahood After Trauma podcast. If you would like more of the Mamahood After Trauma community, make sure to look in the description of this episode for the link to become a Mamahood After Trauma Inner Circle member. Until next time, Mama, keep